What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today I'm finally making a video on the Galaxy Z Flip 4. A lot of people have been asking me why I haven't been covering the Z Flip 4, even though a lot of people know that I did purchase one from the Unpacked event. I've really been covering the Fold, which I've made a lot of videos on, you guys have probably noticed. Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I'm just not the biggest fan of the Flip, and today I'm going to talk about why. Even though this is a great phone, and it's a phone that I'd even recommend to a lot of people, but it's just not a phone that's really for me in a lot of ways, and I'm going to give you guys 5 reasons why I don't really like this phone, and I don't really like any of the flip phones. I never have really liked any of the flip phones from Samsung. I much prefer the Fold or the more traditional phone like the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But also, there's just a lot of people who follow me are not really interested in the Flip. I made a few flip videos before the launch. They didn't do that well. So those are the reasons why. Again, this is an amazingly good phone for a lot of people, and they made some good improvements. So this is not a video bashing it in general, just why I don't really like the phone. So the first thing is, for me, the form factor change of the Flip when you fold it doesn't really offer any additional benefits. So what I mean by that is, for a lot of people, and I understand the benefit, because this phone is so compact when it's folded, it's easier to put it into a purse, it's easier to put it into your jeans. If you wear skinny jeans or you carry a small purse or something like that, a small day pack, whatever, I mean, it could be male or female, obviously, then this might be a very advantageous thing for you to have your phone go from a small compact to what's a pretty standard size smartphone. Although I'll talk about in a second, one of the other things that I don't really love is the width, but we can talk about that in a minute. It kind of goes along with this. It's just not a huge benefit for me. On the other hand, with the Fold, I feel like going from this to this is a huge benefit because I do a lot of multitasking with my YouTube channel. I do a lot of multitasking for my day job, editing spreadsheets. Having this, small tablet size in my pocket and then putting this in my pocket when I don't want to use the tablet is a big advantage. For me, just the form factor switch from folded to unfolded isn't really a value proposition for the Flip. That's the first thing, and one of the first reasons why it's not really the phone for me, in my opinion. The second thing, which I guess we can put these two together as one thing, is I don't find this phone to be wide enough. I don't have my S22 Ultra around right now, but this phone is much more narrow than something like the S22 Ultra, which is what I'm used to having, which also, even though I will say it's not nearly as bad as the cover screen on the Fold, I really don't like using the cover screen on the Fold. I've kind of made that known. It's really not quite as bad, but the keyboard is not as wide and spacious as it is on my S22 Ultra, or when I have the Fold unfolded, obviously I have the split keyboard, which I even find, even better in my personal opinion for multitasking. So the width and also the value proposition of the Fold change when you go from this to this just really isn't there for me personally. The next thing, which is a really big deal to me personally, I know a lot of people don't spend much time talking about it anymore, and that is the haptics on the Galaxy Z Flip 4. The haptics, by which I mean when you type on the keyboard or do something on the phone, you have your haptic feedback on when you do your swipe gestures to go home. The haptics are very weak. They don't feel good. And to me personally, haptics have always been a really important part of using a smartphone. I know sometimes, like I said, it doesn't get talked about. But when you use something like the Fold, the haptics are a lot more satisfying and solid. I can just feel going home from Twitter on both of these phones, it kind of just bothers me using the Flip because the haptics are so hollow kind of on this device. And that's definitely one of the things, I was thinking about this the other day, what bothers me the most about the Z Flip 4, it's probably the haptics, honestly, because using the S22 Ultra and the Fold, you have a really satisfying haptic experience. And of course, I also use iPhones a lot for my video, as I've talked about this many times. Even though I don't like the iPhone operating system, iOS is a mess, the haptics on the iPhone have always been fantastic, and that's something that I really do love about it. So that's a couple things. The third thing, I guess I'll lump the first two together, like I said, are the cameras. So the cameras aren't bad on the Flip, but the main cameras are not as good as even what's on the Z Fold 4. And of course, they're not even close to what's on the S22 Ultra. But if you're looking for that premium camera experience and you're used to that upper tier flagship experience, you're not getting that on the Z Flip 4. The cameras aren't, like I said, poor, but in low light, you're not going to get amazing performance. Now, I know a lot of people would say, well, the form factor of being able to tilt this up, take selfies, and do all kinds of creative shots really makes up for it at the end of the day. And for a lot of people, that very well may be true, that it does make up for it. But for me personally, not being able to take great low light shots that really get the job done for me as a creator is a big deal. And I would rather even have the cameras on the Fold versus the Flip. And at the end of the day, that's quite a compromise and kind of pushes me to not using the Flip 4. The fourth thing is the crease. So you're going to say, well, Jeff, obviously there's a crease on the Fold as well. Clearly there is. The crease is still very noticeable on the Z Fold 4. Absolutely. But here's the difference. When I use the Z Fold 4, I'm never really touching the crease, because when I swipe through Twitter or any kind of social media, it looks how nice and smooth it is on the Fold, I don't touch the crease, right? Because I touch on either side of the crease because it's right down the center of the big display. But when I'm using the Flip and I'm scrolling, I'm very often interacting with the crease, right? If you're scrolling down your Twitter feed, for instance, very often you're going to notice the crease. And I don't know why, it just happens to bother me. It's somewhat annoying to have to interact with that on a daily basis. And it's more noticeable to me because I am constantly touching it. Now, could you touch somewhere else? Of course, but there's much more likelihood that if you have something here and you're zooming in on a picture, that you're going to be interacting and touching the crease on the Flip more so than the Fold. And then my fifth and final thing, and this is somewhat anecdotal, but I think it's mostly true. You can certainly share your experience in the comments. From the Z Flip 3, I feel like a lot more people had durability issues with the Flip versus the Fold, by which I mean people had complaints about their phone cracking right down the center, and I don't know if that's because the hinge just wasn't very good. I'm using Samsung's leather case on the Flip, by the way. It's really nice. I don't know if the hinge wasn't as good on the Flip or wasn't as durable, or if it's because, as I said, people are interacting a lot with the crease, if that's why. But I saw a lot more people say that their Flip 3 broke within a year versus the Fold. I had no issues with my Fold 3, and I used it a lot over the last year. So I just feel like there's a durability concern for me as well. Also, a lot of people, like to do the crazy flip tricks where they unflip it like that. That could also have something to do with it, in my personal opinion. Whereas with the Fold, not as many people are going to be unflipping the phone like that at the end of the day. So those are the 5 reasons why. I don't know if I'll make more videos on this phone or not, but I wanted to share kind of why I'm not the biggest fan of the Flip. If you really love the Flip and you want to see more content, let me know. I'll certainly consider it. But for me, my main Samsung phones right now are the S22 Ultra and my Z Fold 4. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification icon. Future videos like this. Also, Best Buy does have some really good deals on the Flip and the Fold right now. $1,200 off, actually better than Samsung's trade-in deal. So check those out in the link in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.